All right, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. There's a ton to talk about when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. People kind of act like the sky is falling for this team. There were some issues offensively. They did still win the game. Another thing I want to mention right off the start, just a couple of interesting stats. People like to talk about, the low point totals. One very fascinating thing about the Chiefs is they have a lot of very low possession games. They run on average the second most amount of plays per drive offensively this year. And they still score the seventh most points per drive this year. In fact, they, are ranking better in that category than their defense is, believe it or not. They just do a lot of low possession games, which is kind of what makes things interesting. But I do think there were some issues that we can talk about. I still think it's fair to say this is not a flawless offense by any means. So let's talk about it all. The good, the bad, and the ugly of this Chiefs offense and this undefeated Chiefs team. First, there's the good. I mean, we still have the 3rd and Kelsey plays going on. This one, it's a 3rd and 4. You see Travis Kelsey, who's running a route that's going to fake as though he's going over the middle, then run more towards the bottom of the screen. Mahomes is going to take the snap. He looks in Kelsey's direction. I mean, this is a great route from Kelsey, isn't it? I mean, really fooling that defender trying to cover him. And you see Mahomes, they have that chemistry down so well. Watch Mahomes hit Kelsey. They're able to pick up a first down. I mean, that's just good stuff by those two guys. It's what we expect from them for sure, but it's what they can do, right? We expect it from them for a good reason because they're really good at this. On one of the plays of the game, they were able to make something like this happen. So this is the 4th down and goal right here. Kind of, one of those, pretty much you always want to go for it in these situations when it's at your opponent's 2-yard line, because if you don't get it, you're at least pushing them further deep. Although especially in this situation, you want to go for it because it's, 14-3 game. Sure, I guess technically the field goal makes it a 1-score game, but you need more than field goals here, down 11 points. So that's why they're going for it. You see the coverage that the Broncos are in right here. The Chiefs will have multiple receivers kind of run routes going more over the middle, just trying to clear out that area because they want Kelsey open. That is the route Kelsey's going to run, kind of faking as though he's going towards the top of the screen, then getting back, open just kind of, barely at the goal line, essentially. And when this play begins, it happens so fast, right? I mean, the Denver player, the second he realizes what's happening, he slips and falls, and it's an easy touchdown. I mean, they can run these plays really well. So we're definitely seeing the, easy plays on key spots for the Chiefs. We are not only seeing that from the Chiefs, and in fact, even with Kelsey, it did not always go well. Okay, this situation, which, I just said earlier on 4th down and goal at the 2, you almost have to always go for it in those situations. This is one of those situations where you probably don't go for it if you don't convert, right? I mean, you're down a point with, 6 minutes left in the 4th quarter. You'd rather take the lead probably. But really, what you'd rather do is not have to deal with it. You'd rather just score the touchdown and, maybe go for 2 and convert, and now you're up a clean 7 and you feel way better about yourself. Well, that's what they're trying to do. Kelsey's route, trying to get into a gap in coverage. And again, this is going to work for Kansas City. I mean, you see Kelsey, he is wide open on this play. Denver, got to play defense better than this against Travis Kelsey. The question we've asked ourselves a million times over the years, how does Kelsey get so open? If we knew how, teams would be able to stop it. He's great at doing this. Here's the issue. This throw is just overthrown, and you can't say it was a miscommunication. It was out of the back of the end zone. The only thing I can think of is if Mahomes, I would just be making an excuse to say this was any decision to throw this ball away. He just missed the throw. And, Mahomes, for all the things he does very well, he will miss the occasional throw. There's no denying that. And this was a huge play, right? If the Broncos made that last second field goal, this is the play we're talking about, is they could have had an opportunity to score a touchdown, failed to do so. It allowed Denver back in the game. And there were some other bad moments in this game. One, I think, is actually an interesting development with the Chiefs. So this is really interesting, I think. You see that the Broncos are going to be playing a cover 1 blitz against the Chiefs. If you remember, there was a period of time when no team ran this coverage against Kansas City because they had Tyreek Hill, and Hill would just blow by any corner trying to cover him one-on-one. This was the, if you think about the Buccaneers-Chiefs regular season game when Hill had over 200 yards in just the first quarter, Tampa Bay said, we can't do this anymore. Let's make sure we play 2 safeties deep for the rest of the game. They nearly came back and won that game, and then beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Since then, what the Chiefs have done is they got rid of Tyreek Hill, tried to be a more complete roster, and for the most part, it's worked. They've been able to beat two safety deep coverages a lot more. They've won back-to-back Super Bowls, but kind of the one area they've had more weaknesses in is now these concepts, the thing that they used to be deadly in. Here, you see that when Mahomes runs a play action, I mean, part of this is just you got to block better than that. I know it's a play action, but I mean, that's just you let a guy run right by you. That's not ideal. I mean, the Chiefs have had offensive lineman woes, especially at the tackle position, so that's an issue for sure. On this play, it's a pressure. Mahomes doing what Mahomes does. He gets rid of the football somehow. I don't know how he pulled that off. He just blindly threw one, but still managed to throw it away. But again, it's a play that was killed due to pressure, and this is something that teams can do now. In fact, this play is super interesting to me. So the Broncos are going to go with an all-out blitz here, which, again, you would never do against the Kansas City Chiefs. Surely there's about to be a passing touchdown on this play, right? Well, when this play begins, Mahomes takes the snap. He's looking down the field. Okay, what's the one-on-one matchup you like here on a 2nd down and 7? This is really interesting to me. Mahomes takes the sack, which is not something you see him do too often, especially when he could have at least thrown the ball away. Not a smart decision, I think, but also looking at the sack totals year in and year out, these are the numbers. Keep in mind, they've played 9 games so far in 2024, so just barely over the halfway point for them. You see, he's already at 20 sacks on the year. The previous high he's had for his career was 28 sacks. He doesn't get sacked a lot, right? But now he's getting sacked a little bit more. He's on pace for, by far the most sacks of his career. That's been a part of it. That stalled drives, and honestly stalled drives when they get in field goal range. Part of why they sometimes have to settle for 3 instead of for 7. The Chiefs still are doing some nice things, though, to move the ball. As I mentioned, this is still a top 10 offense in pretty much every advanced metric. So, there's no reason to look at this team and say the sky is falling. And this is a lot of what they're doing. Is I quite frankly think Andy Reid is just doing an incredible job with this team, and the whole offensive coaching staff in general doing an incredible job. This play, it's man coverage, a cover 1 play. You have Kareem Hunt out of the backfield, simply just running a route, going from the offense's right to the offense's left. But this is difficult with all the traffic over the middle. Watch how when Mahomes takes the snap, there is some pressure, which is picked up by the Chiefs. And you see right here, again, there's a window to make this throw. The linebacker for the Broncos has traffic he has to get through. Mahomes is able to make this throw. They're able to pick up a completion for a 1st down, but then there's a broken tackle, which allows it to be a lot more than that. But a lot of little stuff like this. As I mentioned, they're running the 2nd most plays per drive in the league, while the explosives aren't really there right now, and that is concerning because mistakes can happen. Fluky turnovers can happen, and they have happened this season. They are at least doing a really good job at running the offense and making the layup plays, and hey, we can keep criticizing them all we want. This is a team that's 9-0 right now, so they're doing something right. And like I said, their offensive advanced stats are actually a little better than their defensive advanced stats, as crazy as that sounds. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.